sequences. Fifth one, indexes. Okay, so these objects are called database objects. Tables, views, synonyms, sequences, indexes. So, okay, the different objects are created for different purpose. The different objects are created for different purpose. Tables are created for storing the data. So you want to store the data, compulsory you need to create the table. Views are created for security. Synonyms are created to simplify the table names. So giving simple and short names. Sequences are created to generate the values for primary key columns. So indexes are created to improve the query performance. Okay, then. So tables are created for storing the data. Views are created for security. Synonyms are giving simple and short names to the table. Sequences are created to generate serial numbers. Indexes are created to improve the query performance. Okay, then. Now. So, but in this, you already know tables, working with tables. We'll see working with views. Okay, then. So, like views. Then. So, what is view? A view is a subset of a table. So, what that is? That is part of the table. Okay, a view is a subset of a table that is part of a table. Okay, na? Then, so it is part, subset of a table. So means, see, for example, like what I said, I don't want to give the whole table to Kumar. I want to grant specific rows and columns. So don't grant salaries and commissions to Kumar. Kumar is not allowed to see the salaries and commissions. You want to hide salaries and commissions for Kumar. And how this can be done? So then create a view, V1. In this view, include the fields, number, name, job, department number. Include the fields except salaries and commissions. Okay, na? So create a view. In this view, include the fields. So Kumar is allowed to access. Okay. Then don't include the salary and commissions because salaries and commissions. So Kumar is not allowed to see the salaries and commissions. Then after creating the view, so grant this view to Kumar. Grant this view to the Kumar. Don't grant the table to the Kumar. Grant view to the Kumar. So when you grant this view to the Kumar, Kumar can see only these 4 fields. So he cannot see the complete table. Okay. So what is the purpose of creating views? The views are created. So view provides security at row and column level. So in the last class, you learned 3. So then these views are created to provide security and security at row and column level. Okay. Then. So with the help of views, we can grant specific rows and specific columns to users. And another one, a view is a virtual table. So view is called virtual. A subset of a table means part of the table. Virtual table. Why it is called virtual? Virtual means not real. Not real table. Because a real table stored the data occupies memory. But a view doesn't store the data, doesn't occupy memory. That is why it is called virtual table. So because it doesn't store data and doesn't occupy memory. So why it is called virtual? Because it will not store the data, it will not occupy memory, and it always derives data from base table. Okay, then. So I'm just giving So what is view? What is view? If anyone asks you what is view means, you can say it is a subset of a table, it is a virtual table, or a view is a representation of a query. A view is a representation of a query. So view always represents a query. Okay, then you'll understand all this then. Next. And what for views are created? So views are created mainly for two reasons. One is to provide security. Another one, to reduce complexity. Okay. So views created mainly for two reasons: to provide the security, to reduce the complexity. Okay. Then how you provide security? Okay. So with the help of views, we can grant specific rows and columns. With the help of views, we can grant specific rows and columns to users. Then we'll see that. Okay. Then so here views are two types. Okay. So one is the simple views, another one complex views. So views are two types. One is simple, another one complex. Actually, the views created on tables. You create views based on tables. If the view based on single table, it is called simple view. If the view based on multiple tables, it is called complex view. If the view based on single table, it is simple. If the view based on multiple tables, it is called complex view. So first say simple view. Let's see simple view then. Okay. A view said to be simple if it is created on single table. Then. Okay. Now, how to create view? Create view name. Create view name as select statement. So this is the syntax. So create view name as select statement. So this is the syntax. Syntax for creating the view. Okay. Then. Now let's take example. Okay. Suppose what I'm doing is create view v1 as select. So you should have the idea when you are creating the view, before creating the view, what purpose you are creating the view. Because there is a Vijay, there is a user Kumar. Kumar is not allowed to access the complete EMP table. He is allowed to access only specific rows and specific columns. So then create view. So in this view, I include only the fields that Kumar is allowed to access: number, name, job, department number from EMP. Okay. So I'm creating a view. So in this way, I'm including only the fields that Kumar is allowed to see. So Kumar is allowed to see these four fields. So he's not allowed to see the salaries, is not allowed to see the commissions. So then create the view. So create this view. The view created. Then. So it is saying there is already an object named V1. Let's say, suppose drop view V1. Okay. Then create the view. Suppose create view V1. Then. So create the view created. But when this command is executed, what happens? When this view is created, what happens? What happens is that SQL Server creates view v1 and stores query, but not query out. Okay. See, what is this point is, it creates view v1, but stores query, but not query output. So what is v1 stores? V1 stores query, but it will not store the query output. Query output means data. See, run this query. So suppose, let's see what is the query output. Query output is data. So data is not stored in V1. What is stored in V1? This query. So that is the reason. So I said a view is a representation of a query. So the V1 is representing a query. Okay. You given the name to this query. What is the name given to this query is V1. Understood? So that is the reason. Another definition is it is a virtual table because it doesn't store data, doesn't occupy memory. So it is not storing the data. So view is not storing the data. View is storing the query. Okay. So then, so first one, like first definition, it is a subset of a table. Why it is subset of a table? So because it is including only specific columns and rows. The actual table contains 8 columns, but view contains only 4 columns. So that is the reason it is a subset of a table. The second one, it is a virtual table. Why? Why it is virtual? So because when you create view is not storing the data, it is storing the query. So that is why it is called virtual, because it doesn't store data, doesn't occupy memory. And another one, view is a representation of a query. So the V1 is representing this query. You are given the name to this query. Okay, then. So when you run this query, select start from V1. Will it show the data or it will not show the data? When you run this query, select start from V1. Will it show the data or it will not show the data?
Not show the data, I think.
Yes. So let's say select start from V1. Okay. Select start from V1. When you run this query, select start from V1. It is showing the data. But what I said, it doesn't store the data. View doesn't store the data. But even when it doesn't store the data, so where this data is coming from? Okay. Then. So I said view is a virtual because it doesn't store data, doesn't occupy memory. So when it is not storing the data, so this data comes from where? I given one more point also. What that is, and it always derives the data from base table. A view always derives the data from base table. That means whenever you run a query, so when you submit this query to SQL Server, then say this, when you submit this query, when we submit, okay, when we submit the above query to SQL Server, query to SQL Server, it executes the query as follows. Okay. How it will execute the query? It will execute the query like this. Select start from. So wherever you reference V1, so whenever you say V1, the V1 is replaced with this query. The V1 is replaced with this query. So you submit this query to SQL Server, background SQL Server execute the query like this. That means V1 is replaced with this query. Okay, that. Understood that. So that means whatever the data that is displayed here, this data is not coming from view. This data is coming from base table. Yes or no? So whatever the data is coming from this here, this data, it is not coming from view. It is coming from base table. Okay, that. So this is the concept. So create the view. And whenever you run the query on view, this query is executed. When you run the query on view, this query is executed. Whatever data written by this query, that data is displayed here. Then, actually, why you created? You created the view because you want to grant employees data to Kumar, but Kumar is not allowed to access the whole EMP table. He is allowed to access only these 4 columns. That's why you created the view. So let's grant the view to the Kumar. So grant, select, insert, update, delete, on. V1 to Kumar. So I'm not granting the EMP table to Kumar. I'm granting view to the Kumar. So after granting this view to Kumar, now Kumar can access view. So let's say select star from V1. Select star from V1. So Kumar can access. Okay, then next. So is Kumar can update? Yes. Kumar can delete. So Kumar can access CMP table, but he can't access CMP table directly. He can access CMP table through V1. So Kumar is accessing employees data through V1. Through V1 is allowed to access only these 4 columns. Through V1 is restricted to access only the 4 columns. Okay, then. So can he update? Yes, he can update. Update V1, set job. So what is the job of this employee? Clerk. So job equals to something manager. Okay, where employee number equal to 7369 is updating the job. So let's run one row affected. So it is updated. Okay, through view he updated that. So where it is updated? It is updated in base table. Can you see the changes? Select star from EMP. So Smith job is updated with manager. So Kumar is updated the job, but he updated the job through view. Then. So through view, he can select through view, he can update through view, he can delete through view, he can insert. Okay, na? Then. So suppose, can he update this? For example, then. Can he update salary? Update P1, set salary equals to, so 3000, where employee number 7369. Can you update the salary through view? Can you update the salary through view? No, it is giving error. It is saying invalid column name salary. Why? So because why this query is giving error? So this query is giving error because through view, he cannot update the salary because salary is not included in view. He can update only the columns which are included in view. So that is what the security means, providing security. So restricting the user to access only specific columns. Okay, then next. So that now next, granting permissions on view to user. Then so grant, select, insert, update, delete on EMP on V1 to Kumar. Okay, now let's say Kumar. So who created the view? Who created the view? So this user, with this user, DBO. SA, login is SA. Login is SA means user is DBO. Login is Vijay means user is Kumar. Then, so who created the view? So DBO. Then, so DBO created the view, granted permissions on view to Kumar. So Kumar can access, yes. Then now, let's see. Now he can see the data. Now he's update the data. He's updating the job. See, updating the salary. When he try to update the salary, what this command gives? Error. Because through view is not allowed to update. Understood that? No. So he can delete. If you want, you can delete. So delete from V1 where number equal to 73695. Okay. So you can delete the row. You can insert a new row. insert into V1 values, insert into V1 values. So 100, suppose name A, job clerk, salary something, 2000. Okay. So I'm inserting a record through view. So then not department number 10. I'm inserting a new record through view. When you insert the record through view, this record is inserted into table. Okay. When you insert the record, like let's run this one row affected. Now see the table, select star from EMP. You see the table, a new record is inserted. What about the other fields? The other fields are filled with null values. You see salary is filled with null. Commission is filled with null. Height date is filled with null. So because you given the values only 4, because the view contains only 4 fields, you given the 4 values, but the remaining fields are filled with null values. When this record is inserted into table, the remaining fields are filled with null values. Okay. Then that's how. So once the permissions granted on view to Kumar, now Kumar uses view to perform operations on table. The Kumar uses view to perform operations on table. Okay, then. Okay. Understood the concept? Then.
Yeah.
Then next. So what you provided here you provided the column level security. Okay, here you provided the column level security. Let's see row level security. Now, this is row level security. So previous example is column level security because you granted specific columns to Kumar. So let's see row level security then. So I want to give specific rows to Kumar. See, Kumar is not allowed to access all the employees' data. Is not allowed to access all 14 employees' data. Is allowed to access only specific employees' data. Then how this can be done? So create view name V2 as select. So number, name, job, department number from EMP where department number equals to 20. Suppose assume Kumar is allowed to access only the employees belongs to 20th department. He is not allowed to access all the employees data. He is allowed to access only the employees belongs to 20th. Okay, then so create the view. So the view created by DBO. Left side is DBO. Then so the view created. After creating the view, grant this view to Kumar. So grant select, insert, update, delete on V2 to Kumar. Okay. So granting the permissions on view to Kumar. Now, so once after granting, now Kumar can see select star from V2. So Kumar can see only the employees belongs to 20th. He cannot see the employees belongs to other departments. So what this is called row level security, allowing the user to access only specific rows. Okay, then now. So then, so grant, select, insert, update, delete on V2 to Kumar. So let's go to Kumar. So Kumar can see only the employees belongs to 20th department. Okay. Then next. So once again, just 1 second. There are some records. I'm deleting that rows then. Okay. Now, see here, what Kumar is trying? He's trying to insert V2, okay, values. So number, some name, okay, some name, some job, department number is 30. Okay, let's see. So then see, insert into V2, number, name, job, department number is 30. Is inserting the record through view. Is inserting the record through view. So then the employee, actually the view based on 20th department, but this employee belongs to 30th. You understood that? The view actually based on 20th. So in view, what is the condition? Department number equals to 20. The view based on 20th, but this employee belongs to 30th. Okay. Then even though it is accepted, let's see, 1 second, execute this query. So it is accepting this row. But actually the view based on 20th, but this employee belongs to 30th. You are able to insert this record through V2. That means when you are inserting, it is not checking this condition true or false. Okay. Then understood. So let's see here. Then so this row is what's it? One row affected. Okay. Then the above insert command executed successfully. Okay. So successfully, even though it's violating the where condition. Successfully. So even though it is violating where condition. So this insert command is violating this condition. But even though it's violating the condition, but still insert is accepted. That means it is not checking. By default, SQL Server is not checking this condition true or false. But what is my requirement is? My requirement is through view, you should insert, you should update, you should delete only the employees belongs to 20th. Don't insert, update, delete employees belongs to other departments. Okay. I want to use this view only for the 20th department. Don't use this view for other departments. So the above insert command executed successfully, even though it's violating the where condition. Okay. Then, so one option is there. What is that is? With check option. There is one option. What is that is? With check option. Then, so if you created with, so with check option, then any DML command through view violates where condition, that DML is not accepted. Okay. So what is my requirement is? My requirement is through view, user should insert, update, delete only the employees belongs to 20th. Don't insert, update, delete employees belongs to other departments. Then what you have to do? Create the view with check option. See, let's see. Then create view V3. So here use one option. What is that is? With check option. Okay. Then now let's see. Suppose create this view. Then so I'm creating this view. Now only the difference is previous one, this one. Previous one is without check option. Now with check option. Now grant permissions. So grant select, comma, insert, select, insert, update, delete, on V3 to Vijay Kumar. So V3 to Kumar. So granted, permissions granted to Kumar. Now Kumar is inserting the record V3. So V3, suppose employee number, some number, some number, some name, okay, some name, okay, then some name, some job, and department number is what? 30. Okay, so department number is 30, but the view based on 20th, but this employee belongs to 30th. So whenever you insert, update, delete the record through V3, it will check this condition is true or false. If this condition true, then only the DML is accepted. If that condition false, DML is not accepted. So this insert command is not satisfying that where condition. So this DML is not accepted. It gives error. Attempted insert fail update because the target view specifies what? We check option. Okay, that. Understood? So now, so grant permissions. Now let's see. So Kumar, what Kumar is doing? Kumar is inserting the record through view. Okay, then when he's inserting the record through, with this command gives error. So if view created with check option, any DML command through view violates where condition that DML is not accepted. So this insert is violating this condition. So this insert is not allowed. That means you are restricting the user to insert, update, delete only the employees belongs to 20th. You can't insert, update, delete employees belongs to other departments. Okay, then. So like example, suppose, for example, see, suppose there is a one table is there. The table is loans table. So like admin is the owner of this loans table. So this table contains all the loans. All the loans information is stored in this table. Suppose in bank there are two departments. This is one department. This is one department. So this department deals with what? Home loans. Okay. So this department deals with car loans. So this department deals with home loan and this department deals with car loan. Okay. So these people are allowed to access only home loans data. These people are allowed to access only car loans data. How this can be done? Okay, then what? But this table contains all the data. So this table contains all the loans. That. So then what you have to do? Create a view. So create one view. Okay, then create one view. So create view. Okay, VH. Okay, na? Then as select whatever star something from loans where type equal to H. Type equal to H means home loan. Create a view. So grant this view to this department VH. Like that, create one more view. So create view VC as select star from loans where type equal to C, car loan. So grant this view to this department, VC. But so this department, okay. So this department can insert, update, delete only the customers taken home loan. They are not allowed to insert, update, delete customer taken car loans. Through this view, they should manipulate only home loans customer data. Don't manipulate the car loans customer data. then what you have to do? So while creating the view must be created with check option. Create the view with check option. Okay, then you create the view with what? Check option. So when this view created with check option, then so through this view, you should insert, update, delete only the customers belongs to home loans, customer taken home loans. You can't insert, update, delete customer taken car loans because there is a separate view for car loans. Okay, then. So how to restrict this? So we can restrict with the help of with check option. Understood that? Okay. That. So, but if you see these three examples, like we created three views, V1, okay, V1, V2, V3. So I created three views. But in all these examples, okay, the view based on single table. The view based on single table. So there is one more. What that is called complex views. There is one more, complex views. When the view set to be complex view, a view set to be complex view, one, if based on multiple tables, based on multiple tables, if query performs group by, if query performs group by aggregate, okay, then next, and query performs aggregate expressions, so set operations and subqueries, then the view is called complex view. A view set to be complex view if it is based on multiple tables, if query performs group by class, if query performs aggregate operations, if query any expressions, if it performs set operations, if it performs any subqueries, so then the view is called complex view. Okay, then. So like for example, there is a .NET developer is there. .NET developer. So this developer is developing one application. For his application, he want the data. So this .NET developer is developing one application, and for his application, he want the data, but data is not there in .NET. Data is there in SQL Server database. So, and whatever the data this .NET developer requires, it is not there in one table. It is there in 10 tables. Okay. So the data that .NET developer requires, it's not there in one table. Suppose it is there some 5 tables, 10 tables like that. Suppose let us assume it is there in 5 tables. Then what that .NET developer has to do? He has to get the data from 5 tables. He has to use the data for his application. But to get the data from 5 tables, he has to write join query. Okay, to get the data from 5 tables, he has to write join query. So to write join query, he must know which 2 tables he can join, what type of join, inner joiner, outer joiner. If it is outer join, left outer, right outer, full outer. So he must know all this. If you know all this, then he can able to write the query. But we can't expect the .NET developer to know all this. So he can write simple queries, but he can't write complex queries. Then what he can do? So if any complex scenario is there, contact what? SQL Server developer. Okay. So in this case, you contact SQL Server developer. He can write the query. Select what? Start whatever the columns from table 1. Suppose inner join table 2. Next, inner join table 3. So on condition like this. Okay, then on condition like this, inner join table 3 on condition, like you can write this because SQL Server developer, so he's expert in writing the queries. He knows. Okay, then, but not only he write the query, based on this query, he creates what's the view, create view CV1 as. SQL Server developer, write the query, based on this query, create the view. the view given to .NET developer. Now, if .NET developer wants to access the data from 10 tables, 5 tables, simply run the query select star from CV1. Understood? When .NET developer wants to get the data from 5 tables, he doesn't need to write this complex join query. Simply he writes select star from CV1. Because whenever you run this query select star from CV1, this query is executed. Whenever you run the query on view, the base query is executed. So this query is executed. Okay, then. So this query gives the data from 5 tables. So that means .NET developer is getting the data from 5 tables without writing the complex join query. So there are two purposes of creating views. One is to provide security, another one to reduce complexity. So with the help of views, a complex query is converted into simple query, which is useful for front-end developers. Front-end developers, non-database developers, .NET developers, Power BI developers, data science developers, because they're not expert in, so .NET developer is expert in .NET application, but is not expert in writing complex queries. He can write simple queries, but is not expert in complex queries. So then what you can do is when any complex scenario is there, you write the query, you create the view based on that query and give the view to the .NET developer. So instead of writing the queries on table, now you can write the queries on views. Then. So these are the two main purpose of creating what views. Okay. Then. Now. Then. So okay, we'll see the example in the next class.
Okay, Vijay, thank you so much.
And this is in the next class it is completed, and synonyms are so simple to